Welcome to Money Market Moves by MWG, a Garcia Family Company presentation. So first things first, we're going to separate this presentation into two categories: money you need soon and money you want to access later. Money you need soon, you're just going to keep it in a savings account or treasuries. Treasuries, fancy word. So the percentage that you're going to get on your money right now is going to be around the federal funds rate. So right now it's 3.75% per year. So for example, if you have $100 in your savings account, you should expect to get around $3.75 per year added to that savings account. So it would become $103.75 the second year, etc. But the banks take a small cut. For example, Cash App takes a 0.5% cut and they leave you with 3.25%. SoFi takes a bigger cut, it's 3.1 right now, and Apple Card takes a smaller cut. Different banks take different cuts. Your savings account right now in 2026 should definitely be above 3%. If it's like hovering around 0.5%, get a new bank, because it's like that SpongeBob meme, huh? I'm barely getting any savings rate percentage. Come on, give me my money. If you do want to take out the middleman, you can buy treasuries. This is probably too complex for most people, so just stick to the easy stuff. Get a savings account with a interest rate above 3% for your savings. Now to the wealth creation. This is how everyone creates wealth. This is how all the billionaires are made. It's through this process right here. This is how everyone retires. This is how people do FIRE, financial independence, retire early, how everyone becomes wealthy. And there's just one thing you need to know. And this is handsome Squidward, the S&P 500. Wait, what is the S&P 500? Well, that is just a shorter version for the Standard & Poor 500 index. An index is just a basket of companies. And I'm sure you've heard of some of these companies that are in this basket. We have Starbucks, Chipotle, the Home Depot, a bunch of other tech companies in this basket: Tesla, Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. The S&P 500 is literally, by definition, the top 500 companies in the United States. So what's so special about the S&P 500? So when you buy the S&P 500, buy a portion of it, you are literally buying a portion of all the profits of all the top 500 companies in the United States. And when you buy a stock, you buy ownership into the company, so you are entitled to those profits. They literally give you money 4 times per year because you are owning a piece of their business. So what's the returns with the S&P 500 over time? Well, with compound interest, and the S&P 500 on average grows 10% per year since the Red Dead 2 late 1800s era. If you put in $10,000 today, don't touch it at all. Leave it in your savings account, not in the savings account. Leave it in the S&P 500. Don't touch it for 30 years. It ends up being $170,000 by the end of it in 30 years, and you did nothing. You just clicked the button, put that 10K into the S&P 500, and just let it sit there, cook, and sizzle. So where do I buy this S&P 500? Well, you have to go to a stock brokerage. So that could be Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity, Cash App, so many options, Robinhood, etc. And you just got to buy the S&P 500. So what type of account should I be buying this S&P 500 in? Well, as Benjamin Franklin said, there's only 2 guarantees in life: death and taxes. And the US government is going to come for those taxes. But they created a special account called the Roth IRA that you are allowed to put in $7,000 per year into, and then it never gets tax on it. Here's my Roth IRA account. Proof is in the pudding. I'm up 40% already in my retirement account. And there it is. Tax free. So just to recap everything, the steps. First step, if you're working with a company that has a 401k, open that 401k, get the employer match. And here's the important step in it. Inside the 401k, buy the S&P 500. Have that as the 100% allocation. 2, open up a Roth IRA, could be with Vanguard, and buy the S&P 500 index. How you do that within the brokerage depends on the brokerage, but usually you just search up this term VOO. And then 3, chill. And that's it. And there's some other things, and I did simplify this a lot. There's something called Bitcoin that I personally believe in, but we could just leave it there. Leave it on these steps. These are the steps to be wealthy.